Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day to everyone. Before that, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nurul Shahiera binti Yusri. I am from School Humanities. My matric number is 143685 and I am from Group 15. Today, I would like to talk about teen suicide. Do you know what is suicide? According to Honey Seeger, suicide is when person intentionally kill themselves, which means you kill yourself. It is sometimes a way for people to escape from pain and sufferings. Suicide is a huge global issue and almost every year 1 million people die from suicide. In some countries, suicide is one of the top 3 causes of death for people who are between the age 15 until 29. For example of suicide are jumping off building, hanging yourself, taking multiple number of pills, and slicing your own throat. There are 2 objectives, which is first, to identify the complex triggers for suicidal crisis and the way to avoid of suicide. For complex triggers for suicidal crisis have 5 factors, which is first, social pressure. Social pressure can be exerted by a person or a group. As we know, teens have a difficult time due to pressure, hormone change, and unrealistic expectations. However, teens are under constant pressure to perform in academic, guardians, and how to deal the hormones and physical change that happen to their bodies. People commit suicide because they feel so much pressure, and that's where suicide comes in. The second is genetic. According to Peter Ju, some researchers has found that various of genes that marries the risk of dying by suicide. 2 genes have so far emerged as being involved in the vulnerability suicide. First is the intraphonic polymorphism genes, which was suggested as a quantitative risk factor for suicidal behavior such as bipolar disorder or schizophrenia. The second is the deletion polymorphism of the serotonin transporter genes, which doesn't seem involved in the general suicidal behavior, but in violence and repeated suicide attempt. Next is mental disorder. Mental disorder is a behavior or mental pattern that causes significant distress or impairments of personal functioning. Although mental disorder is generally linked to the premature death, certain mental disorder is carry with them remarkably high lifetime instance of suicide. In fact, 95% of commit suicide have a mental disorder according to mental health articles. Bullying is also a complex trigger for suicidal crisis. The relationship between bullying and suicidal ideation is complex and often mediated by build-up of various factors such as abuse, depressions, low self-esteem, and anxiety. Recently, one of the videos has been viral about bullying. The dwarf boy has been bullied over his disability and ridiculed about his physical condition by his friends. From the video, I can see bullying can give the biggest effect for that boy because he feels depressed and upset with his disability and attempts suicide. Bullying can give the biggest effects for physical and emotional health, both in short term or later in life. It can lead to physical injury, social problem, emotional problem, and even death. Bullying include actions such as making threats, spreading rumors, attacking someone verbally or physically, and excluding someone from a group on a purpose. The last one is loss of loved one. Usually happen in life-threatening situation in the family, like a divorce of parents or loss of loved one. Suicide can occur when the individual are unable to control themselves for depressions and sadness in themselves. For example, there are a lot of news about teenagers committing suicide because break up with their partners. They feel frustrated and sad, loss of loved one. So they think suicide is the best way to remove all their sadness by ending their life. There are 4 ways for avoid to suicide. First is make sure they are safe. One way to prevent of suicide is to limit their access to dangerous object or place. Don't let them to store any sharp object or toxic substance. This is because the victim will act out of the control. That's way will make it easier to hurt them. Besides, do not leave them alone to go hide place. Ask if they have planned to commit suicide and then get rid of the tool or method suicide. Second is get help. Most cases of suicide are due to clinical depression, so we must refer this case to a professional mental health. One of that is get to know them with NGOs like befrienders, spiritual advisor, or other trusted individual who can help them. Of course, it will have a negative perception in the community. Only people with a mental or psychiatric problems who seek psychological treatment should be discussed because mental illness need to be treated rather than condemned. The next is family and community moral support. You should give a close attention and moral support to every person that close to us. We may not be aware about a personal problem, but early prevention can be done through a close individual or family member itself. However, parents also can establish the harmonious environment in the family, communicate properly, and educate their children with a complete religious education to become strongholds in themselves. And the last one is have a fun activity. You can identify your hobbies and interest activity and make them one of the way to release stress. This is, however, doing our favorite activity in a good environment, it will give you great satisfaction. Healthy activities such as hiking, jogging, and cycling are the popular choice nowadays because apart from being physically and mentally healthy, also you can build a closer relationship with your beloved ones. The conclusion is every problem has its solutions. As a wise person, you should think before you do something is good or not for yourself. Suicide is an occurrence that is preventable. That's all from me. Thank you.